Hello. Right, so following on from the video that I made about making useful lists for bookshop.org, I thought I'd do another bookshop.org instruction video on how Edelweiss can link you in together. And in this case, what we're going to do is build a customer mailing so you can shout about this new service that you can provide. And some of the tweaks that you can do around, if you're already doing mailings, maybe you want to link to bookshop.org now instead of your own website, or for the titles particularly, you might want to do that. So that's what I am going to show you. So if we go into Edelweiss, what you will see on your Edelweiss is a 360 link at the top next to the main logo. So click on that. So this is 360. 360 is customer mailings. So a bookie customer mailing. So you can shout about books that you've ordered lots of, or you've got lots of in stock, or that you love, or that you're selling well. And it's very, very easy to kind of navigate and send out a mailing within minutes. So what you want to do to start with is configure some of the options with bookshop.org. So if we go into preferences, and now we have, you might want to just check, if you've never used it before, your email template settings. So the name of your shop, who you want the email to come from, and a couple of other kind of tweaks to what you want the email to look like. Okay, so once you've set that up, if you have trouble with that, give me a call. There is also some additional things you can do with your email server to make sure that emails arrive reliably. It will work without doing it, but it will work much better with doing it. Now, we want to go into links in order to configure it for bookshop.org. And the clever bit here is the titles bit. Now, at the moment, my titles link to my website. This SKU at the end means it's going to use the ISBN as the last bit of the website address, which means it will link to all the books. But bookshop.org can also do that. So what you want is your bookshop.org address. I'm just going to paste this in here. So https://uk.bookshop.org/a/ and then there's a gap there, and this is the clever bit that links to your account. So you need your affiliate number in this gap. So mine is 7. Now, to find out your affiliate number, you might not necessarily know it. Pop over to bookshop.org, go to your bookshop page, so you can see this is my one. Click on any of the books, and this number at the end is your affiliate ID. Okay. So mine is 7, so yours will be a different number. Make sure that you put the different number in there. If you put my number in there, then you'll link to my shop, which you don't want to do. So yes, so that's for the titles. That's the clever bit. Now you might also want to use bookshop.org for your browse and your search. If you do choose to do that, you just need to go back to your main page, copy out all of it with your shop name at the end, and paste it into browse and search, and then just remember to click save on all of these. Okay, and that's it. That's the configuration done. Now I'm going to show you how to do a quick mailing about bookshop.org. So we've clicked back on 360 and we're going to create a new campaign, and we're going to call it bookshop.org. And create that. The name doesn't matter, it's for your reference only. No one else is going to see this. So we've created a mailing. We can see we've got no titles in there, no events in there, no collections in there, and no customers allocated to it. So it's completely empty. If we click on the name of the mailing, we can now start adding in those extra bits. So add titles. We can click on add titles, and we can just type the name of a book that we like. There's the offing, and we can add that in. And now I've got a mailing with the offing in there. Now, there are other ways to add books to mailing. So as you're browsing catalogs, say you're browsing the new Penguin or the new Pan Mac catalog, and you think, well, there's a book I know my customers are going to love. There's always an add to campaign button on that. I'll show you what that will look like. So let's shout about some of these other titles I've got down here. So in your mailings, in your 360, you'll see your most ordered titles. You'll see your titles with the most in stock, your best selling, things with reviews on. That's really useful actually. And your collections as well are down there. So if I want to add any of these books, so Cat Kid for instance, I can click on that and I can click on add to campaign, and there's my campaign at the top. Okay, and I can just keep doing that. So let's do classic nursery rhymes. I love this book. Add to campaign, bookshop. Let's do betrayals, add to campaign, bookshop. Let's do a Christmas, let's do a nice bright book, add to campaign, bookshop. Now, let's do Fergal as well. I like to have a few books in there, add to campaign, bookshop. Maybe you want to shout about your best selling. So where's Dom? We seem to be selling so many of these. So let's add that in. Little Goose's Autumn is very popular. Anti-Racist Baby. Add to campaign. Maybe I want to add some that I've done reviews on. So let's do Carl Newson's Roar Like a Dinosaur, add to campaign. And I'll show you why ones with reviews are really good. If you start doing reviews or encouraging your staff members to do reviews, it really adds content to your mailings. So yeah, let's go with that for now. So I'm going to go back into my mailing now, and you can see all the books have been added in there. Okay, now you're going to want to see what your mailing looks like. So without having done anything fancy, I already have a mailing that lists all of these books, and if I was to send this now, it would be perfectly fine to send, although not very personal. But clicking on any of these titles will take you into BookBub, my site, as with Cat Kid Comic Club selected. Okay, so that's already set up and linked to bookshop.org. Now you're going to want to put some extra content in there. So for instance, a new way to order. No, let's do to support indies. Okay, so I've got a subject line. Once you've got a subject line, it will then let you send a preview to yourself. Okay, but I've got no customers, so it won't let me send to any customers yet. Message, we can click on edit on message and then start using the editor down here to add in some content. Check out bookshop.org for a new way to support indies. Now, you would want to make something a lot longer than this, make it a bit more personal, but just to show you, I am going to highlight this little section here, use a link, and then paste in my shop's URL. Now remember to do that, because if you just paste in bookshop.org, then you won't be they won't go in as your customer. If you put the BookBugs or your shop name at the end, it will go in as your customer. Okay, you can highlight other bits, make it bold. Now remember to click save, always remember to click save. And now you can see I've got a bit of text in there. Okay, now what I was talking about with blurbs, with reviews, is any book that you've reviewed, you can add that review in as a blurb. So I've reviewed The Offing, and I can click on blurb. I can do a custom blurb, so you can do it on the fly, but it's nice to do a staff review because it then adds a picture of you in as the reviewer, which so I've selected that, I'm going to select. Okay, now if I minimize my blurbs, you can now see it's changed the format. So it's got my review in there. Again, all of these buttons work to take you into the actual book. Okay, so already you've got quite a nice looking mailing. I quite like mine to be symmetrical, so I know I also have a blurb for what do I have for the Carl Newson book, which is I Can Roar Like a Dinosaur, so I'm going to add my staff review for that as well. Okay, if I minimize this section, so now I have 2 books with reviews on, and then the rest is symmetrical to make me happy. Now you can also add pictures in, or you can add another picture in. So your logo gets added in as part of your sort of default settings. But if I click on campaign content settings, I can change some of these other bits. So I can upload a splash image, for instance. Now, a relevant one for bookshop.org. If I go over to, I had this open. If I go over to so Bookshop, I think Mark sent out this list of resources, and one of them, I think the one I decided to use was the Stack of Books Purple. So if we click on that, so there's an image we can use as a picture. So I can download that. Okay, where's it gone? Probably gone into my downloads. So I'm going to go back to my mailing setup, and I'm going to upload an email splash image. Oh, and there it is in my downloads. Open that, and then you can crop it if you want to, so you can take out edges and things like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to save it. Okay. Now, if we scroll down, you can see I've got my logo at the top. I've got Bookshop. I've got a little bit of text and then some titles you might like. Okay, and that essentially is all you need. So I am going to now think about the customers that I want to add. Now, because I've got a loyalty scheme that collects email addresses, I've got, if I do all active, I've got 2,500 customers I can email with this mailing. Okay, I have got this option here to exclude people I've already mailed recently, so they don't feel like they're being spammed. Now, again, this is sort of advanced, but what you can do is target people. So you could say, I only want to email people that have bought from my fiction section. Okay, now I'm not going to do that because most of you won't have that facility because you don't have the loyalty card system in Batchline, but that's an option if you do have the loyalty card system. Okay, so let's go back to that, add all of my customers. Okay, 2,500 emails. If I go to preview, if I send now, that's it, it's done. That is the mailing sent. Now, once you've sent a mailing, what I should explain is if you don't have your email addresses already in there, is on this little portion here, you've got click here to add customers. And then there's an option to upload your customers from a spreadsheet. So you just click on this little portion down here. If you've got a MailChimp list, you can just export from MailChimp your subscribed section and then import into here. If you have any trouble with that, give me a shout. So you select your file and open, and it will import them in. You can also do one at a time if you want to, but I'm not going to do that. So yes, once you have sent your mailing, they'll go into completed. Okay, and then you get lots of stats on how many people have clicked, how many people have opened, if you've got the loyalty scheme, how many people have come into the shop since the mailing, and actually bought the book that you were shouting about, or bought a book related to the book that you were shouting about, or just come into the shop since. But again, that's advanced for loyalty card people. And it does also tell you your unsubscribes as well. That is it in a nutshell. If you've got any more questions, we are going to be doing a series of webinars shortly that will cover, there will be one specifically on mailings. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and give us a shout if you need any help. I've got to finish